10-minute oil change.
All right, welcome back to Tragedy of Chuck Schumer. That's what we're going to talk about for a moment. But I'm also going to talk about some of these lazy Gen Zers, too. I'm not letting them off the hook at all. Anyway, we've got Brianna Lyman, Federalist correspondent, and E.J. Antoni, Heritage Foundation chief economist. Brianna, go ahead. This is Matthew Continenti this morning. I want to read something. I don't know what. First, by the way, Schumer's not reelected until 2028. Mm-hmm. Now, AOC may beat him then, but it's not like now. Whether they replace him or not, I don't know. But here's the groups. Just listen. The groups pushing the Democrats for this ridiculous shutdown, which was nothing more than to stop Donald Trump's successes, in my opinion, okay, and his economic momentum, all right? American Civil Liberties Union, the Sunrise Movement, and other environmental and climate groups, Planned Parenthood and other abortion rights outfits, immigration rights organizations, some of them so radical as to be almost insurrectionists, the American Federation of Teachers, the National Education Association. These are the leftist, left-wing unions. The federal employee unions and the Teamsters unions wanted to open the government. These crazy teachers unions wouldn't do it. The Southern Poverty Law Center, one of the worst of the worst. Black Lives Matter, Human Rights Campaign, assorted LGBTQ activist groups, scores of foreign-connected Palestinian rights and otherwise anti-Zionist organizations, and the George Soros-funded network known as Open Society. This is from Barton Swain, editorial page writer for the Wall Street Journal. That's the backbone of the left of the Democratic Party that is basically sabotaging Donald Trump just for the sake of sabotaging Donald Trump.
Absolutely. And if you go back to March, there was an NBC poll, and it found that Democrats were upset with Democratic leadership like Chuck Schumer because he wasn't doing enough to fight back against Donald Trump, which is why they kept the government shut down until the elections ended. As for Chuck Schumer, look, Chuck has a really big problem. Data for Progress, which is a left-wing center, it found that younger Democrats increasingly prefer AOC, Mamdani, Sanders over the Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffrey types. So not only is Chuck Schumer facing inward primary, he's also facing a very different Democratic base than he's used to. The only saving grace he may have is that because Mamdani is going to become mayor officially in January, if things go bad, AOC is going to have a much more difficult time primarying Chuck Schumer when big donors say, we don't want the state to go this way.
Governor Kathy Hochul, one of the worst in the country, is now hinting that she will raise taxes on businesses, at least.
Surprise.
She said she wouldn't, but she's going to. But, EJ, one of their goals, talking to Victor Davis Hanson about, one of the goals of this far-left coalition and what Chuck Schumer wound up doing was to stop and undermine Trump's boom. And in fact, it's going to work because the fourth quarter, you had, we're almost growing 4% for the second and third quarters of this year when Trump came in. The fourth quarter will be undermined, will be stopped by that. So they succeeded. They're going to stop the momentum, at least for a month or so.
Larry, it's literally the playbook from 5 years ago, right? This is what they did during COVID. You had, at the same time, red state governors were opening up their states. You had blue state governors that were keeping their government, or keeping their economies closed. And the result of that was much lower, significantly lower economic growth for the year. And the really crazy thing was then in 2021, we started paying people even more, for example, not to work. So we provided additional incentives to keep those government closed. But Larry, I think it's just the same old playbook, right? They're not in it to help the American people. They're not in it to boost economic growth and get that rising tide that lifts all boats. No, it's Trump derangement syndrome, full stop. They're in it to destroy Trump. And if anybody gets in the way, it doesn't matter.
Trump didn't create the affordability problem. Trump didn't create 9% inflation. Trump didn't create 21% cumulative rise in inflation. Trump didn't cause a doubling of house prices because of illegal immigration that nobody can handle. They're blaming Trump for that now. He is fixing that stuff. The border is closed. The whole pressure on rents and homes from that source, not the only thing, but from that source, he's fixed that.
Yeah, and Larry, you, me, the three of us can sit here all day and talk until we're blue in the face. But until Republicans as a whole get a grip on the narrative, Democrats are going to continue to spew that narrative that this is a worse economy under Biden. We are, 10, 11 months in? It is going to take more than 11 months to get us back to pre-2020 levels after what Joe Biden did for 4 years. And Donald Trump has to keep moving full steam ahead with his economic message. Otherwise, people are going to remember this next year and say things don't feel marginally better.
All right, we can't leave it.